Hello, people. Welcome to Life Matters with Aanu Adedire. Yes, I switched it up a bit. Hello, everybody. Yeah. I switched up a little bit. I think I like my new look. I love it. Like, it's ravishing. It's like, if there's any other word than ravishing, I'll use it. How are we doing? How is work? How is life? How have you been? It's been a while. Like, it's been 7 days. Right? It's been 7 days, and I am super excited to be here once again. God has been so good to us. I can't explain how much God has been good, but God has been so good. Like, so good. And it pays to serve God, people. It pays. It pays. I have not seen this kind of God before, but God has been super faithful to us. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that is very close to home for me. And I would say it's very close to home for me because it's been something I have struggled with as a person. I've struggled with as a Christian. I have struggled with as a young girl and as an old and as an adult. Okay, so that was a lot, but yeah, it's been something I've struggled with, and that is dealing with grief. People be wondering, where does this girl get her topics from? Because I don't understand. Someone actually asked me one day, and it's like, where do you get these topics from? Because I still don't understand, and I'm like, I don't know too. I don't know too, but God just brings these topics to my heart, and I try as much as possible to communicate as much as the Spirit of God wants us to communicate with his audience or with his people. So if this is your first time on the show, you know how we do it. Welcome! Yes, if this is your first time on the show, welcome. I am sure that you've had an amazing day so far. If you have begun to work, how was work? If you're still in traffic, oh, I'm so sorry. I know wherever you are, the traffic will soon go down. And if you're at home, working from home, God bless you for tuning in. So as we start up the show, I want you to sit down, relax. Something just popped in my heart and I wanted to share with us, and it's about how people perceive you. So we've grown up as Africans. You've grown up to, I think most Africans, we grew up to know how to, I don't want to use the word cement your, hi Babatunde, I don't want to use the word, we've learned how to put a mask over our emotions and not talk about them. I don't know if it's just me, but I think most of us, if you're just joining us, welcome to Life Matters with Adedire. We are here every Wednesday on Amen Radio, 6 p.m. Nigerian time to 8 p.m. Nigerian time, 10 a.m. Alberta time to 12 noon. So it's 10 a.m. MSP, 11 a.m. CST, and 12 noon EST. Yes. And one thing I was sharing before everybody joined is one of the things that came to my heart when I was sitting and I was asking God, what topic did he want us to talk about this month? And I had dealing with grief. And in my mind, I'm like, dealing with grief. Like, people be expecting us to be doing like jumpy, celebratory topics because the year is over and we are happy, we are grateful to God and all that. But one of the things that came to my heart is that a lot of times we struggle with these things, and when we lose a loved one or we lose someone that we know or we love or you've grown to know, it's something that tears us up. I remember 3 years ago, oh my God, 2015 was a very, very hard year for me. Like 2015, 2016, I cried a lot because I lost a lot of close loved ones, and to today, I can't really say that I have dealt with that part of me. I can't say that I have fully dealt with it because I feel like it's something that I'm still dealing with. And and to be very sincere, there's no one-stop shop for dealing with grief in itself. If you look at a lot of people that lost their loved ones, if you look at the story of Martha and Mary, they had someone to call. Like, they were like, oh, your friend Lazarus is dead. And in the moment of the grief, there was nothing they could do than to call Jesus, right? Because they believed that he's the one person that could save them, that could help them. And you know, a lot of times we mask it up because they don't want you to cry, they don't want you to feel sad. One of the things that I did was I didn't even talk about it. And a lot of us are like that. I didn't talk about it. I lost a very close family friend in September. I lost my auntie in October. I lost my pastor's wife in November. And everything was like a dark cloud. And by January, I lost another close family friend. So everything happened almost at the same time. And I was how would I put this? I was broken. I needed friends around me, and there were no friends. Like, there were no friends. I needed people that could talk to me. But at that point, I knew that it was not about friends or anything. It was just about me stepping up and facing it. So today we are talking about dealing with grief. And I know one way or the other, every one of us listening to me right now, I've dealt with one part of grief, or one part of grief. Yeah, let me use that word. Either losing like someone that is like a distant relationship, or a distant cousin, or a distant friend, someone that you've known for a very long time. And one of the things that happens when you lose people is you ask questions. You ask questions. You're like, oh God, why did you make this happen? Why did this have to happen? Why did that have to happen? Welcome, people. If this is your first time coming on the show, yes, we said welcome to everyone that just joined us. God bless you. I am super excited that you are here. And yes, as you can see from the topic, we're talking about dealing with grief. And as I was saying before, one of the things that I did was to mask it in. I didn't talk about it. Everybody said, oh, I know how you're coping. And I'm like, everything's fine. And in my mind, I knew it was not fine. I knew personally. Uncle Laoye, I knew it was not fine. I knew I was hurting in my heart. But to be very sincere, I masked it up. So I would smile. I would act like everything is fine. When people sincerely wanted to talk to me, I felt like me talking about this thing and me crying in front of them made me look weak. So I remember when I was in law school, a very good friend of mine lost her dad, and she was crying. Everybody was like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And I was talking to God, because I personally am not I didn't know how to go talk to her, right? And say, oh, how are you feeling, or something. So what I did was I called her, and we took a stroll outside the hostel, because a lot of people were in our room morning, afternoon, evening, morning, afternoon, every day. So I just prayed, and the Spirit of God said, okay, I should do something. So I took her out of our room. I said, please, I didn't want anybody to follow us. I didn't want anybody to walk with us. I didn't want anybody to be around us. I just wanted me and her to go and talk. So we walked down, and I was like, how are you feeling? How are you faring? And one mistake a lot of people make is they tell you, I know how you're feeling. You can never know how the person's feeling, because if you've not been in the person's shoes, even if you, let me give an example. If you lost an auntie and someone else lost an auntie, you will, people will say, oh, I know how you're feeling because I've lost my auntie before. But probably your auntie was like 95, right? And even though, yes, death is death, it is something that you still can't say it happened in the same circumstances, right? And that was what happened to me. So when I saw her, I was like, I'm not going to tell you how you're feeling. I'm not going to tell you that I know how much you're hurt. I'm not going to tell you that I know how much you're faring at this moment. What I'm going to tell you is, give me a hug. So I gave her a hug, and I told her how loud, how crazy it is you can cry. I want you to cry. She looked at me like I was crazy, but I was not. I told her, I said, no matter how loud, no matter how whatever it is in your body, whatever your emotions, I want you to blow out. Now I told her, cry out all the emotion, cry out everything. And she cried for about 30 to 45 minutes. She cried, she screamed, she asked God. I said, don't ask God questions, cry. Now, a lot of times we ask God questions because we're expecting, oh God, I've been serving you, I've loved you, you shouldn't do this to me. Yes, it's normal to ask those questions, you're not a robot, so it's normal to ask those questions. But at the same time, I ask myself, what happened when you told me you're going to protect my loved ones? When I prayed to you, what happened when you told me that you're going to protect everyone that's around me? What happened when you told me that you're my shield? Like, those questions come in, but you don't. So I told her, don't ask God any questions, because her and her dad were like best friends. They were best friends. So I told her, don't ask God questions, don't say anything wrong to God, just cry. And sometimes all you need to do is cry. I know the growing up mentality is, as a man or as a woman, you should not cry. When you cry, you look weak. No. God put those emotions of us crying because he knew that we would need them for certain reasons, or we will need them at certain times. So I told her to cry, and she cried, and she would cry again. And when she was done, at that moment, she started telling me about her dad, and we talked about him. We celebrated his life, and we prayed. Now, for me, it was a mind-changing experience for me, because I felt like, oh, so I didn't have to do the pity party. And some people will just come just because they want to. I said, they don't say we didn't come. Why do you actually go visit people when they lose a loved one? Like, most of the time, people just do it because so they don't say I didn't come, or so they won't say I didn't show face. But in the real sense of it, I think there are times when you're going to see someone that's lost a loved one. I tell you, Shinawa, hi, Yay TV, how are you doing? When someone loses a loved one, I beseech you, go to God in prayer. God will give you the right words to heal that person. And that's what dealing with grief is all about. Because at that point when the person is crying, is sulking, everything is like the world's about to come to an end. You can't do anything. Even if something similar has happened to you, you can never know what the person is going through. You can't. Someone that lost his mom before they gave birth to him is a different experience from someone that lost his mom when he was younger, and it's different from someone that lost his dad when he was a young adult. Do you understand? So it's very important that we know what to say when dealing with grief. And today, I'm going to be talking to my guest. Sorry, I wanted to play some songs, but I don't know why my spirit is just let me talk first before we start the show. And I want us to be intentional about what we do when we go help people. Like, this is me coming from the part of being the third party in the space, yeah. And today I'm going to be having a guest. I'll be sharing his own personal experience. Like, if you see his dad's picture and him, they're like twins, like literal twins. And in my mind, my parents are alive, but I don't know how people feel that I've lost their parents, because it never happened to me, and I don't pray it happens to me, because I probably, like, I remember there was a time when I was younger, and the devil used to bring bad thoughts in my head, and the devil still does. Like, the devil brings bad thoughts to everybody's heads. Probably you're driving on the way, and the devil's like, oh, probably you have an accident, and someone with this. And you know, that is where it comes back to us having the word of God in our hearts. When the devil is bringing things like that, when the devil is bringing thoughts like that in your mind, in your head, about your loved ones, speak the word. I shall live and not die to declare the glory of God in the land of the living. You know, those words keep you going. Yes. Those words keep you going. So it is very important as children of God, as people that we love life, we love our siblings, we love our parents, like we love people that are around us. I remember when my aunt died, I asked God questions, to be very sincere. I cried, and it was because it was just a few days after my birthday, and I felt like, why now? She loved you. She served you. She was meek. She was she was special. She had the most beautiful voice. She was beautiful in herself. So for me, it was questions like, why did this have to happen? I remember a couple of months, it was in October, I was talking to my mom and I was like, it's been 3 years we lost her, and I cried all over again. Not because I didn't understand, because it would be like I didn't have understanding, that was why I would cry again. But it was because I just needed that comfort. There's this song by William McDowell. Take me to the place, Lord, to the secret place where I will be with you, and you can make me like you. Wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms, wrap me in your arms. And for me, that song has consoled me for the past 6 years. That anytime I'm going through a storm, anytime I'm going through something that is bigger than me, anytime I'm going through something that I really can't explain, I has got to wrap me in his hands. And I know that you say, I know what I'm talking about. God is in heaven. I understand. But when God wraps you, it's like a divine hug. You know, there's sometimes when I remember that a couple of weeks ago, I saw my friend and she was tired, and I was like, come, and I hugged her, and she was like, this was the perfect thing I needed. And that's how you feel when God just wraps you in his arms. Like, he just wraps you and says, baby, I got you. Like, I got you. And just, that was how Jesus was looking at Martha and Mary, and it was like, Mary, Martha, I got you. I got you. Like, you don't have to think about this anymore. I got you. So today I'll be having an interesting, a friend or brother is a producer, an artist, a drummer. Yes, I'll be adding him on the Life Matters page right now. And one of the things that I would love you to do as you're living life is understand when God needs you to talk to someone. Like, when someone is going through something, there are times when we just say things because we feel like, oh, I need to say this to this person, or I need to say that to this person, right? And for me, it's more or less, yeah. Telstra Shinawa said, I can relate. Yes, those heavenly hugs are everything. Yes, they're everything. Like, when God hugs you, man, it doesn't matter what anybody says. You know, when God hugs you, when my guest was sharing his own experience and how he has been dealing with it, because it's something that it's like a scar. You always see it. I have a couple of scars on me now, and I can't forget how I got them. Hi, Seun.
Hello,
It's been
hi.
a long time coming.
I know, right?
It's been too long, Seth.
I know.
How have you been?
I'm doing good. Thanks be to God. Pushing it gradually.
So when I told you that I wanted to give you this topic, what came to your mind?
I was like, why? Why would you pick me? I was thinking anytime you probably want to call me, maybe you want to talk about music, talk about life, talk about relationship or something like that. that you and I have discussed, on behind the scene, like on a normal day. But when you called me and then you were like, okay, and but remember you didn't even say, you just
I didn't
mentioned
give
it
you,
like,
I only
yeah,
told you
you're
that
just
you'd be
like,
emotional.
it's kind of it's all good, it's all good, it's all good.
Amazing. I was thinking in my heart, because I have people in my, like, most times when I'm drawing the plan for the month, I have like topics in mind. Topics come to my mind, and I have a couple of people that come to my mind. But I'm like, actually, why did, like, I was asking myself why you popped up in my mind when this topic came to my heart, and I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about this thing. Like, so tell me, okay, first tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, how you have fun, how you relax. Let us know.
Okay, so my name is Seun Laoye, in case you don't know. Our full name Oluwaseun Laoye. So,
Okay.
okay, so Obviously, I'm from Ocean State, Ede.
Yay, Ocean people, we here. I real Mike Stocky.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, I'm into music. I'm into so many things that God has allowed me
Grateful
to,
heart come to life
to
matter
do.
stage. Okay, yeah.
To do such as I play, I, I do music. I mean, production. I do event management in terms of concerts,
Okay.
like help artists put together, the
Yes, the
logistics.
Laoye clan.
Yeah, I know. Hello. So help artists to like plan events, or I could sometimes churches also. Like there are
Okay.
some churches that I'm working with. So I do that, coordinate, backup
Okay.
singers. That's my artist right there. That's one of my artists. It's easy again.
I
Join
easy.
a very awesome brother, and we are planning for Sabomai 2019 come June by God's grace. So back to what I'm saying. So produce songs, write, and also I'm a writer. I write songs. So
Yeah.
I write songs. Even just a couple of days ago, I was like, God, it's been a while that I wrote a song, and just right there and there, like 2 days after, a fresh song just came up. Pop. I was like, thank God.
Hey,
I was like, thank
people.
God.
I found I am the next artist that's sure. How can you not collaborate? Yeah.
So even just like so that one, that's part of what God has gifted me to do. Also, apart from music aspects,
Okay.
I studied computer science, and yeah, I
Nice.
studied computer science and major in database administration. So
Nice.
uh,
Nice.
so coupled with other things that I'm
So
doing.
how
So
do you unwind after all this work?
music, soccer. I watch, I
Okay.
watch, I watch sport a lot. Like I have two favorite sports. Football that we call football, not the one Americans call football, like soccer.
Handball.
Yeah, football, not the one they should be calling handball that they call football. So to say,
Mm.
don't be offended, please, my American friends. So, but football, or so to say, soccer.
Okay.
Then I do watch wrestling, WWE.
Really?
Yes, I do. Actually, and the person who influenced me is my dad. It was my dad that influenced me to watching uh, wrestling. I remember those days he would buy uh, the CDs, bring it home. Both of us would sit down and watch,
Wow.
either on a Saturday morning or Friday. So that's it. And another thing that I could say that he influenced me into was reggae music. Most
Oh,
especially, most
it was
especially
a Rasta man.
No, most especially, nobody else. He does listen to other guys, but Lucky Dube was his favorite, and
Oh.
same way Lucky Dube became my favorite. Like up to now. I mean, I'm like generally, if I should say my favorite artist, regardless of what genre they're
What
singing,
genre it is?
yeah, it is Lucky Dube,
Wow.
regardless. Then
Wow.
if I want to talk about, like if I want to talk about like my favorite gospel artist is Marvin Sapp, any day, anytime.
Woo! Boy, don't play with me.
Any day,
I
anytime. Marvin Sapp is
love Bishop. Oh my
because
God. I love that
because
man.
because the way I got connected to his ministry was like I just went out one day. I wanted to buy CD. Nobody introduced. I've never heard his song. I've never heard anything about him. Then I picked two CDs, and they're just, I mean, three CDs.
Oh, you're
One,
bringing memories to my head.
one, and the first
Oh,
album was Thirsty album,
woo.
and Be Exalted album. Those two
Oh,
albums. Then I
wow.
bought. How they'll sell those hawkers on the streets in Challenge, but they will sell some
Yeah.
compilations of CDs. Then I bought a compilation
Yeah.
of one song that I do remember is "He's Able" by Kate Franklin. He's able. So that song like that. So
Wow.
I mean, back to those.
When we're talking about
That's
Marvin Sapp, this song came to my head.
my
There's a
song.
shadow of your greatness,
Yeah,
not searching of your power.
that's my.
Oh,
You're God up. Oh,
oh,
You're God all by yourself.
oh. Woo.
My God. For you alone. Yeah.
Oh God, for you are God alone.
Alone.
Now unto
Unto
the
the King.
King,
Eternal.
eternal, immortal,
Immortal.
invisible,
Invisible.
the
The
only
only
wise
wise
God. Okay,
God.
so it's not a concert. Do,
Okay.
do, 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 do.
Okay. So come back.
Oh my God.
You're God alone. Yeah.
I
So,
need to go. Oh my God. My
so,
the,
so
the album that I love the most was the last one he did. That he when he lost his wife and
that's during
I
thirsty. That's thirsty.
cried.
That's
People,
thirsty.
I
That's thirsty. That's
no,
thirsty
not
album.
thirsty. The latest one, the latest one he did was not thirsty.
That no, when he lost his wife was during thirsty. Thirsty
No,
album.
after. No, it was after
Okay.
the albums he
Okay.
did after, and it was
There's
mm,
you saw the best in me when
no,
everyone
no, no.
else.
It was the album after.
Okay, don't let us talk about my visa today.
Okay, he
So
said,
you can.
y'all better stop.
Okay. Okay. Go back.
Chelsea, I'll stop. So,
Okay.
now we've gotten a background of who Seun Laoye is.
And just to chip it in, let me feel proud a little bit. A cousin to the superstar Nicola.
Okay, so this is Nicky Laoye's cousin, and funny thing was, let me tell you how I met him. So Nikki came last year about summer, last year summer, and I just saw her pictures. Funny thing is, I'm not the kind of person that would jump on people. Like I personally don't like it. Even when I see a celebrity outside and I know the person, like probably I see the person on Instagram, I'll just be looking at you like, I don't want Agbele. Agbele is like when you say hello to someone and the person just looks at you like.
Just
So
curve.
I personally didn't like that. So I
Curve.
personally.
Curve. You don't want curve.
Oh, they call it curve, but
Yeah, you
when we
don't
know
want
it,
curve.
Agbele is
Agbele.
the one. We can do a bit and not parada. E.g. shut up. Oh my God, I'm so right. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I remember that I sent a DM to her and I was like, oh, that hi, my name is Aanu, and I think I told her that I was in Edmonton and I knew she was in Edmonton and I wanted to give her a free photo shoot. And she's like, wow, that's funny thing that she was still thinking that when she gets back to Lagos, she was gonna do a photo shoot with somebody. And this was like timely. So I went my friend and we went to do the photo shoot together and it was super, super fun. It was on Instagram Live. We had too much fun. People were Most people thought I'd known her from a very long time, but funny enough, that was the first time I was meeting her. So it was too much fun. Then I think a couple of weeks after I met Seun, and Seun was doing this Instagram live and I was playing keys and was singing, and I was singing songs that I really, really like. This was songs that were in my heart, and I was like singing songs, and it was like, which kind of girl is this? That was
Yeah, I
so
know.
very nice. But that was how I met Seun Laoye, and when I had my first single, it was one of the first people that posted on his page, and I'm like, okay, I just knew this guy for like 5 days, and he's already supporting me. Oh my God, I'm so shy.
Oh.
And yeah, since then he's been my brother and friend. So
Okay.
he ain't taking any time to you to have a family. And those people were telling me something a couple of days ago. For people that feel when you start a venture or a franchise or a business or something and your blood related family don't support you, you can get family outside your clan. And that is why the body of Christ is there. And that's how we have people like Tersia Shinawa, we have someone like Fake Job, we have someone like Motu Bensi, Grateful Art, Laoye, and everybody that's right here that come out and support. So even when your family doesn't support, God will always raise a family for you. So never be discouraged that, oh, my mom is not supporting, my dad is not supporting. Don't get me wrong, my parents support me, they love me. But I'm just giving an example that when you feel so downcast and say, oh, nobody loves me, nobody does this, God will always raise a family for you. So, Chill, tell us about growing up.
Growing up was fun. I could say one thing is that the major constant thing that I always being chastised for is my dad was kind of a person that doesn't like coming back home from work, and at that time he was working in another state, like we were living in Ibadan, so he
Okay.
was working in another state. So each time he's coming home on weekend, this man will call. that okay, I'm just leaving, of which is already on his way.
I think most
So
dads did that.
so of which is already like half I mean, he's already on his way, maybe like 1 hour to get home. So later on we got the gist. So that when he calls, or we will call in to just kind of see to okay, dad, what's up, or even those, not like the phone calls like that, but there's usually either we use the landline or we'll find a way to try to communicate. And at times, those
Shout out
times
to
that
all the 21st century generation that don't know how to use the landline. We
you
use
know
it. Phone book.
the landline that circle
Yes. And
to
you press the
yeah
number and you press
yeah
another number. I want to make a
yeah
mistake and start all over again.
all over again. So I mean that's what happened. I mean dad will say okay, he's on his way and of which, but what about driving hours? I mean is that he hates this fact that he gets back home and the children at his children at all not home, except mom can account for us that okay, she sent us on an errand. If you're out on your own, you are probably, and it's not a genuine reason, you are probably in a hot soup. And me, constantly on a Saturday, I always go to the football pitch to play soccer. He loves soccer, but he doesn't. He would rather prefer to meet us at home first before you go out.
Yeah.
But it is on the morning that those guys play ball, on Saturday
True.
morning.
True.
So I wouldn't want to wait. So I play. That's the only thing that I could say constantly that got me in trouble growing up. Constantly, because they knew I love soccer, and up till moment, I stopped playing soccer because I had a health challenge a little bit. That time I had like this kind of cough for like almost 1 year that I stopped eating
Wow.
some certain foods, like stop eating yam. Most often all carbs, all carbohydrate food. I stopped eating them, and if I have
Wow.
to eat anything solid, I have to like really really chew it, like really really chew it. So
Wow.
so that got me like, oh, I can tell you like for a year or so I stopped. So I couldn't do anything that I have to run over and run. So gradually I stopped playing soccer, but once in a while I
Mm.
still go back. And the major thing now is now like growing up. The reason growing up, I was not okay. I'm into music. I love drums passionately. I love soccer also. But Nigeria doesn't give future for a soccer player. You get injured. Honestly, that was why I withdrew, because I was like, and
Mm.
we have a lot of Nigerians neighbors, like street guys that
They're
play
really
soccer as
good.
well, that are very
Yeah.
very very
They're really
very
good.
very good, very very good. But at the end of the day, they get injured. So, and me, I don't like playing anything that blood coming out of my body. I hate it. So I'm being very very cautious of that. Even playing soccer, I'm very very cautious of blood coming out of my body. So then I just kind of reevaluate myself, like, okay, Shell, which one do you want? Do you want to be
Mm.
playing soccer, or you want to just play your drums? And what this is what summed it up for me as like, Shell, my hands and my legs are still very very important for me to play my
Yeah.
drums. My drums will
Mm.
give me immediate money. Soccer I can keep playing and God smile on me. I'll get signed up. But
You
back
like
then,
money.
back then, another thing that why I didn't keep on playing soccer is like, back then in Nigeria, your locality too, they'll feel it's because you're jobless, it's because you
Yeah.
rise
Yeah.
street boys thugs. That's why they just venture into to soccer or football.
Mm.
Not They didn't see it as a form of recreation. Really, those days. I'm not talking about now. Those days, they didn't really see it as a
Yeah.
form
They,
of
they see
recreation.
people that don't have NFA, no future
Yeah,
ambition.
no future ambition. Just want to, everything is ball, soccer. And my mom will even say, not every one of you will play to stardom. Not everybody will play. That's what my, but then, I mean, concurrently, I was doing the drums and stuff. That's growing up. I grew up. I have five in numbers. My siblings, and the third, you know,
Mm.
and our siblings, generally everybody has the same story. You guys growing up, you fight or you love each other or
Yeah.
something like that. So we just, and it's just like that. So it's just like that. Just growing up, my my family, everybody, we're just there, trusting God, enjoying God for whatever we have at hand, and here I am today.
Hallelujah. So,
Amen.
coming to the topic, how
Uh-huh.
when was the first time you lost someone that you loved, and how did it hit you?
So it was 2016, October 7th, October 7th, 2016. It was on a Friday. Yes. So, dad has been sick, and what happened was they said he was getting better, and all of a sudden I got a call that he's no more. But meanwhile, I mean, it was kind of still shock, like a shock, but you know, I felt I felt like, okay, I mean, someone you just told me was getting better, and all of a sudden
Mm,
deteriorated again. So
mm,
I was like, this doesn't make sense. So later on down the line, you know, all I mean, we could lay blame on our infrastructure, or I mean medical infrastructures in Nigeria. Imagine they're saying there's no number one, like someone who was I mean who was uh I mean that they found like he has diabetes, and you're giving him drip. I was like, it doesn't make sense at that point in time that he's sick. You feel what I'm saying? That you
yeah.
don't give such a person drip. Even medical friends that I have, practitioners that I have as friends, said it doesn't make sense at that point in time that that person is sick. I mean, is it diabetes or kidney? Yeah, there was like one of his kidney was failing. It was like, you don't give such a person a drip right there and there. Secondly, there was a test that, and thanks be to God, there was no. It wasn't like there was shortage of money for care at that point in time. There was no shortage of money. We
Mm,
actually paid everything up front that they mentioned at the
mm,
hospital. But then they said one machine wasn't working. That he has been he has been at the hospital since Tuesday. That they will get the machine to work on Thursday. So I was like, okay, so, and which means, humanly speaking, you will calculate it. If this man had received the scan, and you guys know actually what to assess, what to tackle on Tuesday, Wednesday, there's all tendencies that you could salvage his life, because by the time you made that test, maybe that thing deteriorated more than you
yeah.
could help it. Help it. So
So you're just
then
making
this.
things worse with
So
your
yeah, I
own
mean,
inadequacies.
yeah, that's and that's the angle that I want to come from. So I mean, I could say everything contributed, but at the end of the day, me being a Christian, me being a believer, I accepted it that it's maybe it is time for him to go.
Mm.
Maybe, I mean, from my humanly speaking,
From your
it's never
perspective.
from my own, because I rather I rather want him to go and rest than be in pain.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? At the
Yeah.
same time, I could say this now, but I couldn't say those things over then,
Mm,
because my thoughts were clogged, were clouded, everything. Well, it was, it was, it was, it was a great distress for
mm,
me. And but one thing that I thank God for is that uh, even before that, I've understood this part that feelings are transient.
mm,
Whatever brought the feelings, the impact may be everlasting, but
mm.
feelings are transient. They don't last forever.
Yeah.
So at that point in time, the feeling that I had, being bitter, being sad, being down. Guess what? I went to church that Friday evening.
Mm,
I got a call on Saturday on Friday morning around 8 a.m. thereabout. So up to now, if any of my family members call me very early in the morning, my my brain still flashes to that thing. That there was a
mm,
time, there was a point in time I told my mom, everybody, please don't call me when they convert their time, don't call me between this time and this time. Please don't.
Mm.
I told them, up to now, they don't do it anymore. Don't call me between this time and this time. I don't want to. Please don't just call me between those time and that. If it's not very, very important, like if it can wait, let it wait till 10 a.m. my time.
Because it just brings back the memory of
Yeah,
how it all happened.
most especially because my schedule allows me to sleep to like that time. So when you call me, it was like the same thing that that call woke me up. So when I see a call from my siblings or my mom, I was like, okay, what is it? So just coming up from my sleep. At times I just flash back, but I just told them, please don't call me. Don't call me at that point in time, please. I mean, if that's one of the reasons why I could get healed, I'd rather prefer it that way. For you, except if it has to do with, something that cannot wait.
Like an emergency or something.
Yeah. So if it can wait, and most often I stay up to like 1 a.m. my time, whereby they would have been awake. So we'll talk that time.
Okay.
So back to what I'm saying. So what I was saying. So back to what I was saying. Dad was everything. Was everything to me.
When I saw his picture and I saw you, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly. That's.
I mean, this is his twin brother. You guys literally look alike.
No, but it got when I growing up, becoming a young adult, we started fighting. Because, and guess what? I didn't understand. I thought I'd been rebellious. No, then I went to my pastor. My pastor said it is normal to happen. He said, why? Because number one, I can tell you that 80% of your personality, you took it from him.
Yeah.
So your dad is seeing himself in you. That's what my pastor told me. That was what changed everything. That your dad is seeing himself in you, and see it as this is the lion of the house, and you another lion is coming to take another. Because dad will say something to me, and I'm talking like him. That dad, why don't you do this? It's like now you're challenging his authority. But dad, come on, this is what we can do. This is how we can do it. But I'm not being insultive.
He doesn't care.
So I'm not being insultive. I'm just, but now that was what my pastor told me, that this is the problem. And it's not a problem, it's a good thing, but you just have to manage it well. Because number one, you guys, nobody has to say it's like
nobody.
It's like it's a photocopy, like they just photocopied your dad and you came out. That's what everybody, even up to those who have ever seen my dad while he was alive, if it's not there and you see me and you know my dad too well, they don't have to like whose son is that. You can tell that this is so person's child. So I mean but it was a great experience. And another thing is it contributed to my music. He actually influenced me back then. When I was small, he would carry me on his lap. Will sing. There are two songs that I usually sing that I'm gonna do. He didn't write the songs; they are popular songs, but these new generations might not know the song.
Which song is?
Oh she kisa loni, oh she kisa, baba wa oh she kisa.
Okay.
Ewa wo kisa loni, ewa wo kisa, baba wa oh she kisa.
So he really loved music.
Yeah, he sings. I mean, he used to sing. Yeah, he used to sing, and he's an alto singer naturally. So, which, and also naturally, I'm an alto singer naturally.
Don't start claiming alto.
For real.
Don't start claiming alto.
For real.
Don't start claiming us. I love you.
So I'm an alto singer naturally. So back to what I'm saying. So Dad will do everything, will try and sing some. I mean, most especially because I loved it. I love it. So even I have the mindset to do that song in tribute to him. Those two songs that he sings. I mean, he used to sing for me. So that's it. So, but
I want you to go back to when it all happened, because for me, like, and I was sharing a story where when you first lose someone, the shock comes to, okay, God, I serve you. I prayed. This person did it. Like all those questions would keep dropping in your heart. But before your dad, was there anybody like in the family that you lost that really, really shook you that you can
Yeah,
remember?
I lost my grandma. I lost my grandpa. Yeah, but those times, my grandma, my paternal grandma, when I lost her, she really, I mean, she loved me back then when she was alive.
Hmm.
Go. So, I mean, it was just normal to cry. That time I was still very young, so I
Hmm.
can't really talk about the experience that time.
Okay,
You know,
so
so,
it was just normal to
so,
cry. So right now, do you think that they've taught us to mask our emotions and mask our
so,
feelings
I mean,
enough?
what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying that it was just normal to cry that time. I can't really talk about like the loss of it. If let's say my grandma got to live some more years while I'm well grown up, then I would have been able to point out some importance. Not,
Mm,
I mean, regardless, not that I can still not mention some things about her. She's loving. She was like, she'll shout my name, and she can pray like fire. She can pray. So all those things, like, but now, like I said, if I'm to talk about how I dealt with the grave, I mean, losing my dad, I have things to say. Number one is that I cried just right there because, and
so you
another,
were in America already when you lost your dad.
yeah,
So that was like a double sting.
double
I
stink,
openly.
and also someone that and he actually escorted me to the airport, leaving Nigeria,
Oh my
and
God.
we're still saying, okay, Dad, once I just get settled down, at least get you over here, or I'll come back home very soon.
Hmm.
So at times, up to last month, I was like, it's still a joke. So I'm not gonna see this man like physically
Hmm.
anymore.
Hmm.
Once in a while, it flashes back. That question comes into your mind: that are you dreaming? Can you just wake up from your dream? But it
Hmm.
is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? It is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But for me to talk about how I was able to deal with the grief is because God has helped me naturally in life that whatever happens, move on.
Hmm.
That's key. Someone
Hmm.
that let's start from not just grief alone. Someone that if you mistakenly talk about, like, if I mistakenly offend you and you hold on to hate far more than you should,
Hmm.
tendencies are very high that you're gonna hold on to uh, uh, the grief of losing someone far more than you should,
Yeah.
because you're just that kind of a person that you take
Hmm.
things so deep or so far more than what it should be on a regular surface. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So that one is a major factor right there and there that we all need
Hmm.
to consider.
Hmm.
So imagine imagine if how many will still go to church that same evening that they said
Hmm.
that how
You know,
many will still go to
you know
church
what you're
because
saying made me remember when I had Yvonne May and she was talking about when she lost her husband and she went to church this Sunday and she sang a particular song and she sang it like this person is not singing from like the normal singing. This song person is singing from a place.
Mhm,
She for her it was more or less like, so all this is happening.
mhm.
Okay. Okay, I know when you swell and you just burst into singing and
Yeah,
wow.
I could relate to that because that day I didn't only go to church, I played drums. And that day was probably one of the best, if not the best, uh performance I've ever had. It was a normal Friday service.
Mm,
And if not, the few people that knew about that, okay, this guy, you came to church. It's like they didn't expect me to come to church. Few guys
mm,
that knew. So they were like, they're the one that went to the pastor and called the pastor that, can you believe that Sean just lost his dad some couple of hours ago today? And they still came to church. Pastor was like, wow. After the service had ended, and they just called the church members back to pray for me. That was when I busted into tears again.
mm,
But all through the drums, all through the praise and worship, everything, the sermon going on, I was playing, and one thing I never allowed people to come is to come and do a pity party for me. I never allowed it. I shut it off
Mm,
right there and
mm,
there.
mm.
And God, it is well. I don't tell me it is well. I know it is well. Honestly, I was. It was like I was rude, but I wasn't,
Mm,
because I don't want you to compound my emotion, to complicate things for me. So
mm,
I did not really welcome. Okay, it is well. God, no, I did not. I mean, and thank God for the people I have around me. It's very expedient that you have people that are mature,
mm,
not just people that just want to say things. People that are
mm,
mature, they know the right words to say. Like my friends just grabbed me. Okay, Seun, let's go. At the point in time, I started locking up, like shutting down from people. So my friend Sonny realized that. He came, and he lives in Virginia. He drove down, like, Shehuya, pack your bag. We are going to my house.
mm.
So I went to Sonny's house, stayed like 2 days, you know, just for us to go laugh. He would yab me. Normal things that we do, normal day, would yab
I
me, see
feel
your
good,
head,
Jumbo.
this. All
Mm,
those things. He would do everything. And Sonny and his wife were very, 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 very instrumental to me getting back up on my feet. They will never
mm.
allow me to rest, especially Sonny. And, because on a regular day, we'll talk like, if you check my call log, you find our call like missed calls or something like that 5 times in a day minimum. Like we just call back and forth. Hey, shoot, Kimidaro, you don't greet me. I still say
Till
we be
now,
day up to date.
I need to
Ever since,
investigate both of you.
yeah, go and investigate, because one way or the other we just have one thing to say. Like it could be like a 5 minute talk. Hey, Sonny, this.
Mm,
You're like, hey, this, and that. So like I said, that's what really actually happened. You feel what I'm
mm,
saying? That's what actually happened. So, dealing with it, and another person that God helped me that now changed my, like, Pastor Niyi Adams, a mentor, and also a producer, is a saxophonist. So I actually featured him on my first track, Pile Oleshe. So
mm.
uh, he called me a day that, guess what? Cried now.
Hmm.
That's what he told me. He said, "Don't let people tell you that it is fine. You don't need to cry. Be strong. No, cry now, because it has an
So
emotional
someone's asking Pastor
effect."
Niyi, right?
Yeah, Pastor Niyi Adams, Reverend Niyi Adams. For some people knows him as Reverend Niyi Adams.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not used to titles, so I don't mean to offend
No,
to
she
offend
just
his
probably
titleship.
she
Okay,
knows the person. That's why she
okay,
wrote his name.
okay. So, he used to be the music director of The Cross for
Okay.
Ebenezer Obey's church.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, everything was just right there and there. I mean, he told me, she'll cry, like cry if you need to. Now that this thing just happened, you might need to really, really cry it out. You might need to really, really cry, and
Hmm. Hmm.
so that you're not soaking it in. And when everybody, because people only come around you the first few days.
That's the truth.
So when they were there, cry and let it go out. Even when they're not there, that first few days that it dawned on you, yeah, let it out. And after you're done, now get yourself back up and start moving on. Start
Hmm.
moving on. It's not gonna be sudden like that. And guess what? Because I'm the only one here. Every of my family members were really, really worried about me, knowing fully well that we share, myself and my dad, we share like a strong bond,
Hmm.
a very strong bond. So
Hmm.
that was not, so they were even concerned about me. Even my siblings were stronger enough. Like, but I did mention to them that, hey guys, don't 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 act strong because you don't want to cry, or you don't want mom to feel bad. I said,
Hmm.
guess what? Because at a point in time, you guys are gonna go back to where you are. You, the one that is in school, the one that is out of states, like in another state,
Hmm.
will go, and mom will be the only one.
Hmm.
So I don't want a situation whereby you guys have acted so strong, and she too, she has acted so strong. You guys cry on each other's shoulder, so that
Hmm.
when you all depart to your various destination, and she's all by herself, she's too strong for herself. At that point in
Mm.
time, she's really, really, really strong, not acting strong. So that kind of helped like the situation. And
Thank
I
you very much.
like I said, another thing that is very important, like some people, and I read about it too, dealing with grief. Some people venture into some other things.
Mm.
Some people will
Going
get
to
start
alcohol, drugs, and the likes.
alcohol, doing things excessively, like sleeping excessively, eating excessively.
Mm.
Some people will just be getting angry for no reason,
Mm.
and the level of like I read in one stuff like that about grief, that even some, I mean, we can never say this will be the outcome of reaction when people are grieving,
Yeah.
because just like you rightly said in the beginning of the show, is that you never can tell how people will react. Being the
Mm.
fact that being the fact that uh the circumstances that surrounded the event varies. Someone that lost his or loved ones in a tragedy is different from someone that sleep and they wake up. You feel
True.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Someone that was shot out of criminal attack or whatever it is.
Mm.
They're so different, and the relationship will share, even regardless, even if the person is your brother or your mother or your sister. The relationship also determines someone that you
Yeah.
never connected to. You 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 probably will grieve, but it
It
might
won't
not
be
be
as
as much
much as
as.
someone that is like your twin in the
Yeah,
real sense of it.
yeah. And another thing is this: at times guilt might set in,
Hmm.
because they could have felt like, oh, if I reach out to her, maybe
Mm.
if I done this. So the way people deal with grief, I can only talk from my own perspective. Even we're talking about same subject, my dad. If you call my sister or you call my brother or you call my mother, they will say a different thing,
Hmm.
because our relationships to him are still different. Though we are sons or we are children to him, but still the perspective still differs. You
Hmm.
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So about overall, this is my own advice, or overall this is my own candid uh, perspective, is this: it has happened.
Hmm.
That's the fact, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hmm.
If the circumstance that led to it, if it can be avoided, please do something to avoid the next, so that you don't
Hmm.
have another thing. But if everything is beyond your power, if everything is beyond your thought, if everything is beyond you, accept the fact that it has happened. Now what I decided to do is that do something that will make the person smile while looking at you from wherever they are. Do you get, while they're gone, do something that, okay, if my dad was a lawyer, I want to surpass him, not just an ordinary lawyer. Do you get what I'm saying? I want to
Hmm.
be an outstanding this, I want to be an outstanding that, I want to be this, I want to be that. Now, I mean, carry on the legacy.
Hmm.
Whatever your dad was unable to do, your family was unable to do, your loved ones was unable to do it for yourself and do it for them.
Hmm.
That is what I've come to realize, that
Hmm.
you just have to
Hmm.
now be strong for you. And for instance, if you have younger ones, be strong for them too, because they will need you to lean on.
Hmm.
After my dad passed away, my last born called me that, bro, please, can you tell me what I don't know about dad before I
Hmm.
was born?
Hmm.
You can imagine. And even that made me tear up, like, geez. I was not telling him, okay, this. I will not tell you. And at that point in time, I told him, I'll not tell you the good things that you want to hear. I'll tell you the seemingly shortcomings that I probably have seen in him. Everybody has their own shortcomings. That's
Hmm.
just the truth. That,
Hmm.
please, this is what I want you and I to work on.
Hmm.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regardless of how great your dad was or your dad is, he is still, as long as he's a human being, he has ways, he has places where he falls short.
Hmm.
So if you and I can learn from it and just move on,
Hmm.
that doesn't mean we're gonna be all perfect. We can strive to be perfect, but here's the real deal: that we can learn from it and become a better version of who they are,
Hmm.
plus who we are called to be ourselves. So that's what I told him, and I said, you know what? If you can add this to the personality that God has given to you, you're gonna go past what Adad was.
Okay, so I think we have less than 10 seconds. So by the time it goes off, I'm gonna add you back on. Because he's not a man, what he says he will do. What he says he will do. I feel. What he says he will do. What he says he will do. He cannot lie. God cannot lie. What he says he will do. Yes. God cannot lie. What he says he will do. For what this is Eno Michael featuring Pastor Gabriel Iziachi. That was Gabriel Iziachi. That was Gabriel Iziachi and Eno Michael. God cannot lie. You know, one of the things that I know about God is when he says something, he does it. It might look late to you, but it's just in time. Remember last week when we were talking about writing and executing the vision? You can think, oh, God is not on time. Oh, I'm looking at this clock. But God is in time. He does it right in time. Right when he's meant to do it. Right when he knows that it is time for you to get that blessing, that reward. Sometimes we are not ready for that blessing. Sometimes we are not ready for that thing. But we're fighting it. We're saying, God, we want it. God, I want it. God, I want it. But God is expecting you to be built. And one of the things that Seun said and I said earlier on the show is sometimes when you're grieving, when you're going through that dark moment, sometimes it's very dark. To be very sincere, it's even always dark. Don't let me say that it's sometimes dark. It's always dark because you're asking questions, and I know for sure it will be more or less like, why wasn't I in Nigeria? Why couldn't it be that I like you know there are questions that come to your mind. I just saw this question a couple of weeks ago. Like for me, what happened was my aunt came. You know, it was so bad as my aunt came to my house. She sat on a particular chair. Like I'm having the same flashback of how she sat down. I served her food. She ate. She drank. We were gisting. She kept coughing, but she took her a cough syrup and everything. Like everything keeps coming fresh in my head, like till this very moment. And all through I was inside the house, my friends had to drag me out of the house because I kept going back to that seat. I kept sitting down. I kept having that conversation as if she was still there. And she was not. I needed to understand that it had happened. Like, I needed to, sometimes dealing with grief, it needs growth. It needs you to grow in your spiritual walk with God, because it's not easy, people. To be very sincere, it's not easy at all, at all. But you know, when you're growing in God, when you have God wrap you in his hands, in his arms, it just it just takes the burden away to a large extent. And the album I was telling you about is I Win. I Win, yeah. So going back to that moment where, okay, this is like your twin, he was the one that taught you everything, basically everything, you know. Even though you guys fight, he was always there. Like, you always have someone to fall back on. Now that you've grown to be a better version of yourself, and you're like, okay, I want to make him proud, I want to be a better father, a better brother, a better son to my mom, what are the things that come to your head? Or what are the things that probably someone says something, or someone, how do you feel on Father's Day when people are celebrating Father's Day?
Okay, so number one is this: I don't let some things get to my head, honestly.
Okay.
To be candid, I'm very emotional, and I can tell you that I could be very unemotional.
Okay.
Those two things.
You could know how to mask your emotions.
Yeah, in terms of you know, the Father's Day, I just feel it's like people coined it. You know what I'm saying? That's my people coined that day. Like, okay, people kind of coined it. Okay, this let's Father's Day is every day for me. Mother's Day is every day for me. Children's Day is every day for me. Fine, we choose to celebrate it at one particular day. It's not gonna make me feel less like, oh, but everybody is celebrate. Oh, my dad, I wish you were here. No, the only day that might get that it might still get to me is
his birthday.
The day his birthdays, and the reason why in October seems to be ever since that time, because he passed on the 7th, 16th of that same month was his birthday. So you can imagine, I didn't be there like months apart. Maybe that would be different. But another thing is this: I come to think of it that it's like I still say it. One way or the other, thank God. At least I'm dealing with it in October alone. Not like I've dealt with, oh, he passed on in October, then on his birthday in, let's say, in March or April, then I still have to think about him. You know, I think about him every day. But the emotion of being kind of depressed, the word depressed, not like I'm feeling depression. Like the emotion of being kind of sad, the emotion of being
to weigh you down.
To weigh you down is not coming twice, like, okay, at different intervals. Like, it's just within the same month of few days apart, like 9 days apart or so. Yeah, 9 days. He died on the 7th. His birthday is on the 16th of October. So, do you feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's just it. But like I said earlier on, if you are the type that you hold on to things a lot, any little things you expatiate it, you elucidate on it, you think above and beyond on those things. The tendency is that if you lose if you lose a loved one, the tendency that you're not going to let go of that feeling of that situation is high, because that's just who you are. If you're the type that if I mistakenly call your name, or if I mistakenly abuse you, like verbal abuse, like if I mistakenly, not that that's what I want to do. If I mistakenly, let me take those words back. If I mistakenly hurt your feelings, not unintentionally hurt your feelings, right? And you are the type that you will dwell on it from morning till night. Trust me, if your loved one passes, you're gonna dwell on it till forever, and it's gonna take a toll on you. So who you are, regardless of that situation, contributes to how you deal with it.
What about when you've made promises? Like, I remember that I prayed to God, and I said that I wanted my grandparents to be alive, to be at two things: my call to bar and at my wedding. And in the space of 3 years, I lost both of them.
My dear.
And And the reason why I cried was because, and let me tell you why I cried. My grandpa died the day before I started my bar finals. And the reason why I cried is because he's an educationist. My grandfather can spend
Okay.
anything on any child, grandchild, whatever it is you needed when it comes to education. He was an educationist, right? So for me, it will be that proud moment to see him have that smile on his face, even though like I know he's smiling right now, but in my head I was like, I really wanted him to be there. And I think there's some times where children actually make those promises to their parents, or I want to buy a car for my parents before they die or whatever, and you lose that parent. It's like a double hurt, right? Like it's like a double sting in their heart that, oh, this person has suffered a lot to take care of me, and now was my turn to take care of the person, and the person's going, God, why, and this and that. I think
Do
that
you,
that sometimes causes a double grief for some people.
let me tell you one. If you don't know one thing about me, and I've said it to, if I've, for instance, if I have interest in you as a, sorry to use this, one thing first of all that I tell people, I don't promise people. I don't promise people things.
You promise
If
me.
you ask me, no, because this is the, and people, several of my friends were like, it's because you don't want to commit yourself. That's why I said it's not because I don't want to commit myself. Without promising you, within my heart, I've already committed myself. If you tell me like, hey Seun, I need help, or please Seun, can you pick me up tomorrow? I'll never tell you that yes, I'll pick you up. I'll tell you that let's see what I can do. That let's see what I can do to me is more than yes to me. If I will not wait. If I will not, I'm just like I'm still going to hit the nail on the head. If I will not do it straight up, I will tell you no, I'm not just. So for me to give you listening here, there's tendency that I will do that thing. But the reason why I don't promise is that even me myself, I'm not sure of my tomorrow. I'm sure of my tomorrow in Christ. Guess what? I'm sure of my tomorrow in Christ. I'm not talking of being spiritual now. Like you don't know what
Well,
tomorrow.
we are
You don't
spiritual.
know. I
It doesn't
mean,
really matter.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just being, to people who are not churchy or something. I'm just putting out there. You don't know what's gonna happen in about 1 hour. So
True.
it's good to be committed. It's good to plan. I'm not saying don't plan, but you promising what you yourself cannot really deliver, except if God gives you the grace. Why? So those things I count them as fantasy. You fantasize about, oh, when I grow up, I'll buy this for my parents. I'll buy this. Fine, they're good aspirations. Or like I said, they're good fantasies. They're good. Glory be to God. Lucky you if everything comes to pass and you're able to do it. But hey, if they don't come to pass, if you're not able to do them, that's life. And you just have to move on. That's my own way, because you just have to move on. But the time it takes you to move on is what you should deal with, because obviously you're still gonna move on. You're still gonna move on out of that situation. Either you deteriorate or you progress. So you have to choose which one you want to do. Do you want to deteriorate from being who you are before to now being the worst ever since the loss of your loved ones? Or okay, the loss of your loved ones has actually propelled you to become a better person in life, so that each time you think about them, you say their physical absence was a force that drove you to achieve or to achieving what you tend to achieve. Like right now, I'm embarking on something that I started doing simply because of my dad. I was like, you know what, whatever it takes, I'm getting this thing done. And I started it simply because of my dad not being around anymore. It's something that, regardless, even if it's around, I'll still do it. But I might want to take my time. But guess what? What I'm doing now is not the best of time for me to do it. But guess what? I said this. If I keep on waiting for the best of time to do it, I probably will not end up doing it. Or by the time I will not do it, will not even be very, very comfortable for me to do it. So guess what? Like I said, whatever promises, I have promises. I have aspirations rather. I have things that I've thought of. I guess I'm one person. If you work with me on a project, and this is the same way I deal with things, you're only telling me one thing. The first step, even if you haven't You haven't discussed the project of your song first. I'm already thinking towards the end result. What are your audience before you telling me? That's how I create my thought. That's how I create my ideas. So the same way with my loved ones, the same way when I'm already having things that I want to achieve, that if I achieve this, and I guess that's the same thing for people too. Like when I become this is what I want to do for my family's wife. This is what I want to do for my wife's family rather. This is what I want to do for my mother. This is what I want to do for my siblings. This is what I want to do for my relatives. This is what I want to do for my community, for my church, for this, for that, for that. But here's the thing: do not commit yourself. If when you know that, commit yourself within your heart. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's better to be safe, because we are in the world that people take you for your word, for your words. So people take you for your words, and also apart from that, now this is your loved ones. You promise them within your heart. Yeah, you might feel bad. It's normal to feel bad, but the point is this: move on. There's nothing I can tell you, and because one thing I hate so much in life is sympathy, and even I learned that from I think it was Jesus, when they said the disciples that came to sympathize with him. He said, "No, you don't come to sympathize." Oh no, it was the death of Lazarus.
Yeah.
They thought Jesus would come to sympathize, but he never sympathized with them. At every function where it has to do with death of a loved one in the Bible, Jesus never sympathized with them. He would do what is needed to be done. So when we keep on, so
I get, okay, so Olukebel said, so I get the whole point of you not promising anything, but if you say you don't promise, how about things you already invested your money and time in? Don't you do it because they promise to be truthful at the end?
Like, okay, now what I'm saying is I don't promise people that I'm doing this thing for you. That is what I'm saying. Remember, that's where you're coming from, that you have promised for your this, your... I'm not saying, because at times you use word interchangeably.
No, I promised myself. I didn't promise people.
You promised yourself.
No, I promised myself.
Yeah.
It was
okay,
it was more or less like an aspiration than a promise.
Yeah, so
I aspired to say, okay, I'm open. Okay, so let me use the word hope. I hoped that by the time I'm getting married, by the time I'm doing my call to, by the time I'm doing this, by the time I'm doing that, I will be able to have my grandparents around me and say, oh, this is your granddaughter, yeah. But for what Oluke is saying is that I don't think that it's not bad not to say, oh, okay, don't worry, I'll help you do this. But I understand the angle where you're coming from, where nobody knows tomorrow. Tomorrow even has to take care of itself, like Jesus said. But one thing you have to do is, like you said, if you know you're not able to do it, let people know from the start. I think that's where integrity comes into place for most people. Is that most people don't have integrity. They tell you, oh, I'll be there tomorrow, and they know they won't be there. It's just like when people put... I remember there was a conversation I was having with somebody, and that person put the person's flyer on their program, and the person said, but I already told this person that I won't be coming. And in my mind, I'm thinking, why can't you just put it down? Like, for me, if I was the program, or if I was in charge of the program, I'll remove the person's picture, because I know that person won't be around, because people will come because of this person, right? But most people really just want to use your flyer for your picture for the crowd. So your crowd, you get there, they say, oh, we are sorry, this person couldn't come. Some don't even have the courage to even come out to say that. So I think what Oluke is saying is that what of when you put your money and your sweat and everything into it, don't just still promise. But I think what Seun is saying is it won't commit 100% to something that he himself is not sure what will happen tomorrow. But he's not saying that he's not someone that doesn't communicate. But there's something about reliability, responsibility, and integrity. Those are important things in life, to be honest.
So, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I said I don't promise not to shy away from being responsible, from being accountable, and from being reliable. If you work with me, do it very well, and to God be the glory. With all humility, if I take on a project, I see it to finish. If I tell you that I do this, I know that I can do it. But most of the time, if you ask me that, hey, Seun, I need this, even my friends that knows me too well, or people that I work with closely, oftentimes, If I tell them, let me see what I can do, they know that it's almost done. They are like taking that word. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because this is
but I
what I
think there's a place of communication too, Sean, when it comes to a perfect stranger where the person hasn't met you before. So when the person, like for me, if I didn't know you and you tell me, oh, let me see how it will go, let's see how it will come around, I'm already looking at plan B because I don't
okay,
want
okay.
to get
Here's the thing.
disappointed, right?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. On what platform? And guess what? They promise that the word that you mentioned in the first instance, right? It's like you said you've promised what's it called? Your um your parents. Later on you were able to clarify that you promised yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The word promise is me saying it to you. Is it on a business platform or on a humanity platform? Or approach. Let me use that word. If it's a business, business is communication and you have to be on point. That is not just you
I
have
think
somebody
generally
dragging
we
you.
need to communicate it either way. Like it's like when you're
Yeah.
dealing with grief. Let me give you an example. So, like I said, I had this girl that lost her dad, and the Spirit of God said, "Oh, I should take her. Governor D, I should take her. I should hug her. I should let her cry. Like I mean, cry." And I
Mm-hmm.
hugged and I did that. I come when she started saying, "God, why this?" I had to communicate with her that no, girl, you can't do that. We can't blame God at this point. God has a reason why everything is going on. We just need to make sure that we're just exhaling our emotion, exhaling how we're feeling. I need to communicate that with her. So I think a lot of times when it comes to promising, it's just like when you've already promised your grandparents or your father that, oh, I'll buy a car for you. You only cry because you made that promise to the person. But what you are saying is that
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to things like that, you will not promise because you don't know what tomorrow holds for. That
Yeah.
that is a long-term promise. Like, oh, okay, I know I'll be at your wedding. I personally
So
know that anything can come up. Anything can tomorrow morning you can get a job in, like, let's say Afghanistan, and go to Afghanistan. What happens by then? And you can't get leave
yeah.
from a new job.
So
That's different. But we need to always communicate so that even if it's a business project or a personal project, or when it is just a literal promise or a literal
you know you know.
commitment. I think commitment and promise are two different things. I think that
Mm-hmm.
we need to know.
So here's the thing, because uh I'm not this kind of person that when I tell you something that I'm doing it, I find it very difficult to cancel. Do you get? I found from the A list artists you don't know, and you'll be waiting on this breakthrough. Would you say you can promise, my brother? Like I'm
That's
saying, I think we're
business.
using I think we're using the word promise interchangeably. Do
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
commitment
think
and
we're
promise are
using,
two different things. I think it's
yeah,
understanding what we are saying. When you commit
yeah,
to
because
something, it's
I
different.
totally understood, bro. Okay, I totally understand what you're saying, because this is, if I'm what I'm saying is, like, if you need my help, like, it's not something that is binding me in terms of, I know, for instance, I'm doing this out of my own personal time, out of my own will. Do you
Hmm.
get? Out of my own uh voluntary will, like, I'm doing this voluntarily.
Hmm.
That's why I try to be careful telling people, okay, for instance, recently a friend of mine called me that, hey Seun, please can you pick me at the airport
Hmm.
8 a.m. I mean 9 a.m. on Monday, knowing fully well that my schedule right now, I don't sleep till like 5 a.m. Do you get what I'm saying? And I
Hmm.
know 8:30 a.m. will be too difficult for me to wake up. Literally, I probably would just have been in bed for 3.5 hours. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this person has told me like 2 weeks. I didn't tell the person that, hey, I'll do it. I tell, please call me back when it's on day 2. I expect you. I won't tell you to go and look for plan B, but in all senses, go look for plan B. If at the end of the day I can, but if it is a business thing, because business, it is business. This is what you're doing for a living. This is business, and it's not just a promise. You're not just giving that person a promise. It's a goal that you're working towards. Like, okay, somebody.
I think we're
This is
just
what I'm
using
saying.
I think we're using different words in different ways. I think for you, what commitment means is I put my 100%. But you are
Yeah.
saying that yeah, not everybody will have that back. Yeah, so I think oh, Kebelo is saying, look, Kebelo is saying is that let there be clarity in our communication when it comes to high cruiser beauty. Let there be clarity in our communication when it comes to people that we are working with or we are talking with. So if I tell you, Sean, I need you to help me do ABCDE, I believe that at that point, oh, give me 2 days, let me see how it goes. For me, I must say, okay, you know what? I'm giving Sean 2 days. I call you back in 2 days. At that point, you just give me a leeway of maybe it will happen. So I call you back and say, okay, please, are you committing or are you gonna be there? By that time, we've crossed the part of promising. We are crossing to the part of commitment.
Commitment. Yeah.
But for some people, they take promise as commitment. In
As
which, in
commitment.
this day and
Yeah.
age, you need to know the difference. Some people just promise for promising sake, while you need to clarify if you're committing to it. If I tell you I'll be on your music project, if I'm not going to be available, if I have a cough the day before, I call you back immediately and I tell you,
No, there's
I'm
no problem.
sorry, I need to give you my 100% in what I want to do for you. So it's the same thing when it comes to how we feel.
Okay, I can hear you, please. I just want to
Okay,
attend
so
something.
okay, Dr.
I
Bumi
can hear
said,
you.
I get what our guest speaker is saying, but if you really think it may not work and it's not something you want to do, no matter what, it's nice to let them go. Say I won't be there. Yes, two different words. I mean, that's the point I was trying to make. Yes, yes. Everybody
Yeah.
is clear on the same page. Where we just need to make sure that there is clarity. There is clarity in communication, and the words are not interchanged. So when you know that the person is asking for a promise, you tell the person, "I'm not promising you yet." So I think there's a way you can let the person know, I'm not promising you yet, but I'm just letting you know that if I won't be available, I will buzz you. So there's no commitment at that point. For me, at that point, I would just go look for a plan B and know that if you say I wasn't able to get a swap, it was like I had a meeting for Friday, right? I have a meeting for Friday, and I told the person in charge of the meeting I will not be able. I would see if I can swap shifts with someone else. And when I was not able to swap shifts, I called the person. I said I won't be able to swap shifts because I will not be available. So I made the person know once and for all. So I think it's very important that even when it comes to our emotion, don't promise yourself to hurt yourself when it comes to dealing with grief. Don't promise yourself,
No,
I'll be fine, I'll be this, I'll be that. You can let go and sometimes be vulnerable sometimes. Okay, Dr. Bumi said, if I give you a 6 months notice, I need a clear yes or no. If you tell me yes, then put me in your plan, then sleep early so you can make it. If you don't have to use the word
no,
promise, if not necessary, will you
no.
pick me up?
You
Yes,
know,
I will. I'm not sure. We'll get back to you in a few hours. Or can you pick me up? Yes, sure. When? You get a promise. Yes. Yeah, everybody's correct. Everybody's very, very
you,
correct. So it is
you
very
know, I,
important that in dealing with all
you
these
know,
things, whether you call it promise or commitment, think integrity. Very true, ma. Very true, ma.
yeah. Guess what? I understand. I understand the part. I understand the part. And going from where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And I spoke about the promise of the thing, trying to tell you like a lot of people promise like during while growing up aspirations. We use the word as in your own context. Your promise is not a promise, it was an aspiration that
Yeah.
you hope for, right? But the word promise that everybody is saying right there, I understand the fact that integrity matters.
Yeah.
And
Integrity
guess what?
matters either way.
Guess what? That's something that I hate one thing whereby they'll say, shame. If my name will have to come out of that thing, I want it to be all right. I want to be 100% correct. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want it to be 100% correct. So if I'm putting my name there, that's the reason why I said I hardly promise people, or I don't promise people, because here's the thing. If it is a business, I know this is a business. But if you're telling me if I'm doing something for you as a friend and because I don't want you to feel okay because I said I will do it, and once people, because here's the thing, a lot of people don't know how to deal with disappointment.
True.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people, and they will not tell the side, find 10 people. How many people will report a story and tell you the thing that they did that was bad? Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, okay, I'm telling you that I have a face-off with, let me say, for instance, I have a face-off with K. Bello.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you that this is what I contributed to the whole matter that didn't make it.
Oh, you can't really hear Seun. It sounds far away, or I think it's just the network. You can come on Life Matters page so that you can probably hear him clearly. Probably it's the dimension of everything.
But can you hear me well?
Yeah. No, but it's not really what you say.
Sorry. Sorry about that, because I'm just driving right now. So, like I said, I understand, Kebelo. I know no one can be perfect. We should always aim to be 100, definitely, and that's my desire in life. That's everything that I do. Whoever I've worked with, whoever, that's my desire. That's everything I do in life. That's what I aim for. If I know that I cannot achieve this thing, I don't get into it. I don't venture into it. First of all, but like I said, if I tell you that, hey, if you tell me something that I tell you that I cannot do it, if I cannot do it, if there's no way, I will tell you straight up, I won't even entertain it, first of all. But if I should entertain it, there is all chances of me saying 80%. The moment I entertain you telling me stuff and I entertain it, I can bet you within my heart I'm like 80% ready to do this thing.
Oh, okay.
But
now I'm clear with it. Even as much as I don't like people driving, let me wrap this up with you so that you can concentrate on driving. Were there any scriptures that came to your mind when you were dealing with your loss and going through that phase at that point?
Scriptures, I mean, just my normal scriptures, like nothing really much. Like
Okay.
I say, but I hope you can hear me, though I can't look into the phone.
Yeah, so I will let you go now. That's why I said my last question, so that I can let you go, is, were there any words from God that consoled you at that point and all that?
I mean, because here's the thing, I won't come online and start forming what didn't happen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, because the truth is that because of who I am, or how God has helped me to develop my mental capability. Like I said earlier on, I've learned to move on in things. Like whatever happens, you can enjoy the moment, endure the moment. I do those two things. Enjoy it. If it's palatable, enjoy it. If it's not palatable, enjoy it till you get through it. So the moment I know that feeling is not going to be permanent. I know that feeling is not going to be permanent. Fine, the void will be there forever. The physical void will be there forever. But God, I know fully well that God can do and undo. God can do and undo in terms of being a father to you, providing for you. So I don't really have like that small moment of, okay, I'll say this is what God told me, this is what God, because everything, regardless, because even as a matter of fact, I've never saying that myself and my dad, we share a lot in common. I never really how do I use this word? I don't completely put my trust in people, even if it is my parents. I don't completely put my trust in people. So that really did not help me in getting better, and most things that I do is listen to music. And guess what? The person's music that the person's music that helped me in such a time as then was Navisa. Knowing fully well he went through something that I went through, and in the midst of it, he still served God. In the midst of it, he still carried on. So I went on. I'll keep playing. Here I am, I'm still standing. Here I am, after all I've been through. I survived every step, every turn. I'm alive. That's the song, played it all over again, and also play. I've heard my shares of ups and downs.
I've had my shares of ups and downs.
Yeah, so those are the songs I play, and as a comfort, God gave me my song, which is Uluwati Ready. Like I said, if you've ever listened, If you have ever listened to the song, I mean, even the story behind it, I was like, at that point in time, like everybody else would do, like everybody else would do that, start questioning God. I nearly did the same thing, but at the point, like I said in the interview, I told while I was in that process, nearly questioning God, then I missed it. I just flip through my phone, check my pictures, and even till date, I still ask myself, what's the correlation of the picture to what I was going through? Do you get what I'm saying? Like me looking at, I could have looked at my picture on a different day at a different time. But will it make sense to me at that point in time? Will it give me that message that I got? I probably doubt it. But what am I trying to say is that after that, the song came in, and which comes from the heart that God has prepared me in such a way that regardless of whatever happens, find the loss will be very, very vital. You're gonna feel it, but the bottom line is you have to find a way to move on. You have to lean on something to move on. Either you have to crawl out of the mess, out of the situation, just move on. That's the truth. Because if you don't move on, because your loved ones, based on even messages, stuff that we've heard, move on, if not for your sake, move on for their sake. Move on and go and do something that they should have done. That they couldn't do. So if you cannot move on for your own sake, if you think you don't have any ambition in life, you don't have any purpose whatsoever left in you, move on because of their own cause, because of their own sake. Maybe that would cheer you up to move on. That's just my own. Like I said, that's just what helped me through. And lastly, for the word promise thing, everybody that has said this, I understand that integrity is very vital in humans, because you want people to vouch for you that if you call this guy, he's going to deliver. If you call this thing. And that's, like I said, that's from the aspect of business. When I'm talking business, even in my music, when you call me this, are you available this thing for the gig? I'll tell you, even if I have something that I have to cancel, if whatever I have to cancel is personal to me, or out of like, okay, I'm doing something just because I don't have anything really planned that will fetch me money, or that will fetch me that will build towards my goal, or towards who I'm called to be. That one is different. Do you get what I'm saying? That's my business. That's business. That is cool, or that is what I'm called to do, or what I do in the real sense of life. But any other thing else, like you call, and I'm talking about the promise of you promising, putting yourself in a situation whereby people are actually waiting on you. If you know that you're not, the reason why I don't promise people is this: if I'm doing it just to promising you, not from a business platform or perspective, if I'm promising you from a friend to friend thing, you'll never hear me say, I know, I promise you I'll do this for you. No, if you ask me for help, I will tell you what I can do. What I can do is this. Let's see what I can do. Even my mom, if my mom calls me, saying I did some change, I tell mom, let's see what I will not. I've never mentioned it to her that mom, I can't do it. Mommy, I will do it. I'll tell her, mom, let's see what I can do, because I'm not the provider of the money. God is the provider of the money. And another thing I tell them, pray that God blesses me, and I'll definitely, once God blesses me, I'll give it to you. That is who I am. I'll tell you, once I have it, I'll do this. Once if I have the money, or let's see what I can do. So let's what I can do to me really, really, really means a lot.
All right, Seun, thank you very much. I want to appreciate you for being on the show today. It's been a very long time, but I bless God, and I pray that God will continue to heal you, because I know it's not easy, but God will continue to heal you, and I'm sure that God will continue to help you make him proud, and help him make you make your dad proud, in Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, you have a wonderful day, and please face the road.
I'm already home.
All righty.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Hey, my people. Yes, we had a great conversation with Seun Laoye, and one of the things that he said is one of the things that helped him or saw him through was music. Now, what kind of music do you listen to? I tell people music is is a spirit. Music has power. We're talking about this 3 weeks ago with minstrel Osas, and we were saying how much music goes a long way in everybody's spirit. So what do you feed your spirit? What do you feed your spirit? Because if you feed your spirit, if you feed your spirit bad music or carnal music or vulgar music, that is what your spirit. And remember that the scripture says that when Jesus was talking about the leaders, that the blind feeding the blind, he said it's not what the man puts inside that defiles him, but what's inside him already. So most times what we do that we don't know is what we consume and put into our bellies or put into our hearts or live in our hearts are the ones that contaminate what comes out. He said out of our belly should come flows rivers of living water. But you know that the water inside your belly is not flowing, because what you've been feeding that river, what you've been putting in that river, or you've been throwing different dirt, your alcoholic panty, into the river. So what do you feed yourself? Because it's not just what you feed will settle in, and it's what you bring out. So how do you react to these things? And I know that dealing with grief is very hard. Part of the scriptures that come to mind that will always comfort you is Isaiah 41 verse 10, and it says, do not fear, I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my right hand of righteousness, or my righteous right hand. So it's very important that you seek solace in the word of God. The word of God never fails. I am telling you, the word of God never fails. Every time you go back, you listen, you talk with God, you have that conversation with him, you have that one-on-one, and let him take God as your best friend, and as if he's in front of you. That when you're dealing with that grief, when you're dealing with the loss of that loved one, or you're dealing with the loss of that person that is very close to you, you can sit down and talk to God. God, I don't understand what's going on, but I know you got me. You understand? Is that the same way how Mary and Martha knew that Jesus got them? Because when Jesus got there, he was like, no, he's not dead, he's sleeping, because he understood what was going on. So for us, we need to understand the dimension of how God is working in our lives. Understand that God is not just gonna leave you to cry and whatever, but there are times where God just gives you a very warm hug and tells you everything is gonna be all right. And when he says that, it's just life. It's just life for me. Like, I really can't even pinpoint how much I can say that God's love warms you up so much that when you go back to his word, you know, in Romans chapter 8, verse 38 to 39, it said, for I am convinced that neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor demons, neither the present or the future, nor any powers, neither height or depth, or anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus our Lord. So it's very important that you know that God's love envelopes you. God's love, his love is overflowing, mega blowing. It blows our minds. So know that while you are yet a sinner, Christ died for you. You know, God is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalms 34 verse 18. So all the scriptures come back to you when you're dealing with grief, when you are broken. You know, this song says, why should I be discouraged? Why should my shadow cast? Why should my heart be lonely? You know, those are songs that uplift your spirits. When Jesus is my passion. Hymns. Oh, people, I am telling you, go and look for hymns. Hymns are beautiful to your soul. I don't know why we have a generation that don't understand or know hymns, but go back to, how many of us use SOP, Sounds of Praise, or hymnal books in our secondary or primary school? If you use it, just press the love button or press the like button or say yes on the comment section. You know, God has used a lot of people out there before we were born to give us words of comfort. You know, it is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. You know, all those things are the things that comfort me. When peace like a river attended my way, when sorrows like grief beyond roll, whatever my loss, God is, see, all these hymns are very powerful. Like, because people that wrote them were inspired by God, and they were writing it based on what they were going through. Abide with that hymn. Oh my God. The lyrics of Abide with Me. Let me read the lyrics to you so that you understand that that hymn is not it's not just a small lyrics. Let me read it to you. Abide with me, fast falls the eventide. The darkness deepens, Lord, with me abide. When other helpers fail and comfort flee, help of the helpless, oh, abide with me. Swift to its close ebbs out life's little day. Heart's joy grows dim, its glories pass away. Change and decay in all around I see. Oh, thou who changest not, abide with me. I need thy presence every passing hour. What but thy grace can foil the tempter's power? Who like thyself my guide and stay can be? Through cloud and sunshine, Lord, abide with me. I fear no foe with thee at and to bless. Ills have no weight and tears no bitterness. Where is death's sting? Where grave thy victory? I triumph still if thou abide with me. O thou thy cross before my closing eye. Shine through the gloom and point me to the skies. Heaven's morning breaks and earth's vain shadows flee. In life, in death, O Lord, abide with me. That is an hymn that you can use to encourage yourself. So it doesn't matter what anybody says, what anybody does, no, it doesn't matter at all, at all, at all. It no matter at all, at all, at all. You know, there's this song that I want to play for us. Let me play this song that really, really speaks to my heart, and we'll come back to round up the show. The song is by Emma featuring Ife Nathan. It is called "You Know They Feel." Man go feel, man go still they feel, but this God know they feel. I go open up my mouth, not got too much if I shout. I go tell I'm not allowed, and every hill and every mountain. It's the west, not the south, every corner of the bout. I go talk about to be and I go hide myself. Cause the secrets of my life seems turn around. Nothing that they see of me all around. Cause you know I'm not the train. Everything can change, but this God know they fail. You know they fail. You know they fail. Man go fail, man go still they fail. But this God know they fail. You know the fellow, you know the fellow. Man go fail, man go still the fail, but this God know the fellow. It's a make I cool my temper, fake on the one we go and master. You know they tired, you know they slumber. Show their power, then he go show will be superpower. Everything is filled, but this God know they fellow. You know the fellow, you know the fellow. Mango fail, mango see the fail, but this God know they fellow. You know the fellow, you know the fellow. Mango fail, but this God know they fellow. Papa God, you know they fail. 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 Papa God, you know they fail. You know they fail. You know they fail. Hey. For me, but I'm gonna stay still. You work stood for me, God. You know they fellow. Oh. You know they fell, yeah. You know they fellow. You know they fellow. In the morning, in the night, Papa God, they go holiday. See my papa fi fellow, see my mama fi fellow, even my friends. Hey, God, you know they fail. Hey. No. Mm. Mm. You know the fellow, you know the fellow. Man go fail, man go still they fail. But this God know they fellow people. Man will fail, man will still fail. Never put your trust in man. Never, never, never put your trust in Aanu, never put your trust in Seun, never put your trust in Bumilala. Don't put your trust in anybody. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him and he will surely direct your path. And I am very sure that you had an amazing time on the show today. I know that some people will be wondering, why did you talk about this topic? Why this topic? Why dealing with grief? Why this? Why that? And I always ask myself the same question too. Why does God put these topics in our hearts? And I know that it is for somebody. If not right now, it will heal a part of you that has been broken at a point. It will heal the part of you that I know that you struggled with. And I know that someone else that will watch it will come back and say, you know what, years ago, you did a series on dealing with grief, and this was how I got healed. So I know that God doesn't do things based on coincidence. He's a thoughtful God. And you know, he never fails, like we just heard. See my papa fail, see my mama fail, but God know they fail. For those that don't speak pidgin, it means God never fails. And I know that God never fails. He has seen us through 1 year as Life Matters to Aanu Adedire. Men have failed us several times. Yes, they look at us. Oh, what is this? Is this a show? What are you doing? It's still small. Oh, this, oh, that. But we remember that God was the one that birthed the vision. God was the one that said we should continue. God was the one that said we should go ahead. And he said he got us. He got us. He got us. And yes, one of the best things to do, even when you're hurt, not just dealing with grief, but when you're hurt, some people hurt us. Some people do things that don't help us. You know, I was sharing with Seun and another friend the other day where I was trying so hard to put out my second single, and I was trying so hard to do it, and I kept trying my own strength, and God kept saying no. Move on to the next phase I want you to do. And it was very, very difficult for me, to be very sincere. I felt God didn't like me. I asked so many questions. I was like, oh my God, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. But at the end of the day, it boils back to that God loves you too much and he cannot watch you fail. God loves you too much to fail. And that's one thing you should know, that God loves you too much. God's love is everlasting. It's everlasting love. Never fails. It never ceases. So it is very important that as Christians, as children of God, even for non-Christians, learn to forgive. Learn to, you know, I posted something up today, a picture today, but in the quote I put is, every time I look at forgiveness, it talks about love. When you don't love someone, you can't forgive them. And love is something that we need to grow in as human beings. We need to grow to understand love. You know, this world, what we need is just God's love. We need love in our lives. If you love your neighbor, you won't cheat your neighbor. If you love your neighbor, you won't kill your neighbor. There won't be Boko Haram if they were to be loved. There won't be ISIS if they were to be loved. There won't be any malice or whatnot in our hearts, if there to be love. Love heals. God's love heals. And when God's love heals, he doesn't think of God doesn't want you to trust in him and look at a backup. No. God wants you to be hardworking, but trust in him 100%. And trust in him like, you know what, if I fail, then it's God's will, right? So even our failure, tend to stand up, dust your feet, shake your body, and depend solely on God. Because moving on is easy, but how and who do you move on to? You have to rely on God while even moving on. So it's very important as children of God. All of us are children of God. We need to love and understand God's mercy is new every day. God's mercy is new every morning. So this is what I have for you this week. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Aanu Adedire. Follow me on Instagram, Aanu Adedire, on Facebook, Aanu Adedire. And also you can like our page, Life Matters with Aanu Adedire, on Facebook and on Instagram. Please follow, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is very, very important so that you can also share with your friends that this is what has been blessing you every Wednesday. Share our video, and I pray God blesses you in the name of Jesus. Just before we go, I just want to say a quick prayer for anyone that's going through any hurt or any pain or any sorrow or grieving, that God will heal you in the name of Jesus. I'll see you same time, same station, same place next week. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.